Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Firefighters have a reputation of looking out for their own. Today, we have two firefighters from the Newport City Fire Department, and they're doing just that. They're looking out for one of their own. To my far left is the fire chief, Jamie LeClaire, and Neil Morissette, head of a fundraiser, and you're a firefighter, correct?
Yes, I am.
So, what is this fundraiser all about?
The fundraiser is about raising money to help out one of my past firefighters that moved on to become a career firefighter in Burlington, Chris Laramie. It's his 2.5-year-old son who was diagnosed with leukemia, I believe it was the Monday after Christmas. His brother, Philip Laramie, is my first assistant chief. He's been on the department for close to 15 years. And it's a brotherhood. Chris is always going to be a member of our fire department. That's where he started from. So we're there to support him, his family, and make sure that they have what they need.
So he's a local guy.
Yes, Chris was raised in Newport. His mother, Diane, works for Magog Rentals. His father, Raymond, works for Hayes Ford. He's been with Hayes Ford for a very long time. Him and his brother, Philip, grew up, went to school here. Philip stayed here. He's working in Lindenville, running a treatment plant. And it's just a tight community anyways. So we want to stay together, do what we can. The community's been great. The outpouring is unbelievable. As we'll talk about shortly here, how many seatings we're going to have for the fundraiser, because we're just overwhelmed with the amount of people that are going to show up.
So here on our screen is a photo of the little guy. Now, what is his name?
Cam.
Right. So is this the first time you've held a fundraiser like this, or do you guys do it all the time?
We've held fundraisers before. We have one of my firefighters, James Hawksworth, his son Bratton. We've done a couple of fundraisers for him. Bratton obviously was diagnosed with cancer, and James updates me periodically on how his health and stuff is doing. So we try to help everybody that we can, as far as members on the fire department, past members, and again, they volunteer their time, and we're gonna look out for each other.
Now, do you both have kids?
Yes. I do, yes.
So are you also able to empathize with them as a parent of what they must be going through?
I couldn't imagine what they're going through. Especially with James Hawksworth. His son is really sick, and then to have his son be 2.5 years old and be diagnosed with leukemia just after Christmas. I don't know how I'd react. It's going to be devastating.
Right.
I couldn't imagine it.
So you're the fundraiser chairman, Neil, right?
Yes, I am.
And so what are you doing?
Right now, we're getting the information out there. We're gathering. We have so many donations coming in. When it comes to a community, I think the Northeast Kingdom is the best. I mean, right now, when it comes to the food, we don't have to pay for any of it. We don't have to. It's all been donated from different people. I have to say that the Derby store has done a lot of stuff for us. Mike Marcotte, Representative Mike Marcotte, has done stuff for us. So, I mean, the outpouring is really great. The seatings, what the chief was talking about, it's going to be on February 28th at the Assembly of God Church up by the Alderbrick Road. And people may ask why it's not at the fire station. It's because so many people have said they want to come to it. We've had people calling us up from Boston. Burlington will be coming in with some firemen. Again, this is a brotherhood and a sisterhood. We have also, lady firefighters also who pull together. And I've never seen such an outpouring of a community. And like you said, people feel this. I mean, when you're talking about 2.5-year-old little boy, with leukemia, it's a tough thing to be looking at.
And what I tell people is, it's easy to badmouth our community, and it's easy to say this and that, especially if you're not from here. But a lot of people who move here don't quite understand us sometimes. because we like to play together, we like to work together, and sometimes we even like to knock each other upside the head, but it's not personal.
No.
And when the times get tough, you look at all the fun, even the fundraisers going on now for different causes. People really do get involved when the chips get down.
I was Saturday night. I was out at the fire station. Special Olympics put on a fundraiser, and again, so many people poured out and were there for it. The thing that we did last year for Breton, so many people came to it. We're really blessed. And you're right. The community sometimes gets a bad rap. But boy, when the chips are down, I don't think you could live in a better community than this area.
I like to tell this story. I was once talking to a fundraiser who works here in the community, and she obviously had no idea what she was talking about the area. She told me that this isn't a very given community. And it's like, no, you know what? I don't think a lot of us do give to institutions or give to big causes, because we like to know where that money's going. We like to know that it's really being used for the right thing. That's like how come the Halo Fund does so well. That's how come people donate to your causes, because they know where the money's going. They know it's staying local.
I've never walked in yet to ask for anything where I haven't walked out with something from the Newport City Fire Department.
Now, are you having an auction? Or?
Yeah, we're having a silent auction also. Again, I'm walking in stores and just different areas. We have J Peak has donated some stuff. Pick and shovel. Anytime we walk in there, again, they donate, they give whatever we're asking for.
I'll from the Northland Journal. I'll give you some. I'll give you a subscription and a couple other things for your.
Thank you.
I'll just have to get it to you,
Yep.
Because we try to. As a business person myself, I think that's the one thing people forget sometimes. Like, yeah, you might need a Walmart, you might need a box store. But in your zeal to want those things, I think people need to tone down on how local business, because local business might not be perfect, but they do a whole lot more than meets the eye, and I'm sure you guys know that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, no matter what we do, even us as firefighters, the volunteers, they do get paid to go to fire calls. And they get paid quarterly. So what happens is they take $1 per hour out of their check each quarter. So if they get 40 hours in that quarter, that's going into a special fund, and we donate that money to Relay for Life. If you see our new truck that we got a couple years ago, it's got the Relay for Life emblem on the side. They're really good supporters of that. We're doing both the Relay for Life and the Halo Fund this year.
Right.
We're going to donate. We're going to split it in half to them, and that's it tells me that they're not in the firefighting business for the money.
Right.
It's for the compassion of helping people,
Right.
and we have a great community. We have a great area of firefighters. We have an excellent mutual aid system. I don't think anyone's better than the other. Because when there's a big cause, everybody pulls together.
Right. Now, what makes a firefighter tick? Because usually there's people running out, you guys are going in. Now, what makes you tick?
I think as a firefighter, I'll start first, and then you can definitely choose on that. But I think it's the love for your community, but it's also love for everybody else too. I think when we go there, we're thinking about what's it going to take to save somebody's home, save somebody's life, and you don't think about it because you're there you're there to help. So many times I think people see us. It's a small town, so what would a fire department really be doing? Every single thing that big cities do, the chief is responsible for having us do.
Right.
And I think that's something that people just don't look at it. But when we go out at 2:00 in the morning or 3:00 in the morning, we're out there doing whatever is needed to be done. We do.
As the chief, though, if I understand right, you can't go in anymore, can you? Don't you have to be coordinating the whole situation?
Yes and no. Do I go in? No, I'm not wearing an air pack, and if we have a structure fire, I'm outside doing my 360, getting things in operation, and making the decisions, to decide whether it's safe to let the guys go in or if we stay on defensive. Do I go in after they get the fire out? Absolutely, because I need to determine what the cause and origin is. If it's something that I can't figure out, then that's where we rely on the state police fire investigative team. But again, we do a lot more than just fires. We got car accidents, we've got bells and whistle calls, alarms and whatnot, rescues, as you see in the paper and on the news. We had a very good, successful rescue over at the hospital.
Sure, yeah.
And we put in tons of hours of training. We train at least twice a month, and the paperwork. My desk is always full. The phone's always ringing. I have to make sure by state and federal standards that our fire reports are in, that the training records are available, because then when we do our ISO rating, that's where the commercial businesses save money on their insurances. That's one of the things they look at. When was the pumps tested on the trucks? That's an annual thing. The tower trucks would be tested and certified every year. Air packs, training records, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of work that people don't see because it's behind closed doors. It's not just putting the fire out and going home. We deal with fatal car accidents. We get counselors in if it's someone that we know, and they talk to us as a group. And we have a great working relationship with EMS, the Newport Police. We work very well with them.
And back to this fundraiser, is that why you have firefighters coming from out of state, because of that brotherhood, sisterhood thing?
I think so, because we put it up. We have a Facebook page for the fire department. We'll try to update it and stuff on the calls that we have each day. But when we put that on our Facebook page, it was just, I was getting emails, instant messages from Massachusetts fire departments. Do we have to reserve a seating and stuff like that? And I've had them call me at the station, and I've got 20 guys that are going to try to come up. Should we reserve a seating time? And it's, you show up when you get there. We're going to get you in. We're going to get you fed. We're doing a silent auction. I think we're doing a raffle at the end for 4 Red Sox tickets, that were donated. So I mean, it's a big thing that hopefully we can raise some money to help the Laramie family out.
So what's the meal going to be?
It's a spaghetti dinner, and we're going to have the desserts are going to be from a local restaurant making them. Plus, we have a lot of people volunteering even to bring stuff in for us. So it'll be spaghetti and a dessert, and then, like we said, a silent auction and the Red Sox tickets. We've got some passes for Jay Peak. Like I said again, the outpouring's been good. One thing I want to really throw in here, though, is that we've talked about everything, but one really important thing I think we do, and that is educate young kids. We have a lot of kids come through during, I'm not sure what month is it?
Fire Prevention Month.
So we have a lot of kids. We're down there volunteering our time, but we have so many schools come through. And I can remember, because I've been doing it for a while here now, kids coming in and saying, I remember last year you telling us this, whether it be going to a safe place after there's a fire, or when there's a fire, when they hear the alarm, they remember what to yell. That's really important when kids come over and over again and say, we know what the firemen do, and we remember what they say. We as adults kind of have things kind of together, but when these little kids, and we're talking hundreds of kids come through, it's great to see them, but it's also a big education piece that this fire department does.
Has any of those kids gone on to be adults and joined you?
This would be something the chief may answer.
Actually, we used to have a junior fire program, and it started back in, I'm going to say, maybe 6-7 years ago, and it was sponsored by the Boy Scouts. And we had we had like 12 people, and of course some of them have moved away. And like my son started in there. He's a firefighter. He's part-time police officer for Newport, part-time sheriff for Orleans County. He's in the Air Guard. I've got 2 or 3 that are on other fire departments now that have moved out of town. So it gives them a chance to see what we do, understand the commitment. Unfortunately, the numbers were down, so we didn't have enough people to get supported. So the police department does an Explorer program, so they're going to kind of implore some of the fire department stuff. So we'll be doing stuff with them so that they see, okay, the fire department and the police department work very well together. They spend a lot of time together, so then they have an option of what they can do when they turn 18. And
Okay, I'm going to have the date and time put up on the screen, but can you tell the viewers again when the fundraiser is?
Yes, it's going to be February 28th. And the question's always been, are you guys selling tickets ahead of time? We find that doesn't really work, but we are going to have seatings of about 150 people each seating. So it's just come to the door and we'll get you through there.
What time is it at?
There's going to be 4 seatings, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on the 28th.
So they just show up. And again, where is it located?
At the Assembly of God Church up on the, Alderbrook Road.
So it looks like you're going to have a great turnout then.
We've had an awful lot of people calling us. I believe it's going to be a great turnout. You never know what the weather's going to bring us.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, if one person shows up, then I'll be happy. But I know there's going to be, I'm feeling hundreds, but we'll see.
This is probably one of those fundraisers you really wished you didn't have to have, as in, having a kid sick.
I think, and this is very true. Seems like we've had a few of these kind of where but we don't do it ever. We just do it. There's never a question. When the chief comes and says, we got this going on, we get involved. We feel it. I think that's the other thing too, with our fire department. We have heart. I think we have a lot of everything else, but this department feels for what happens in our community.
Have you done this enough to where, because I've dealt with some organizations, they try to do these events, but they have meetings to talk about the next meeting, or do you guys now have it down to where you really can pull these things off?
I think the biggest thing that people say to us all the time is we just do it.
Yeah.
There's never been a time that we've gotten together and said we can't do it, ever.
Yeah,
it's a prime example. Hungerfest.
Yep.
Neil came to us at a meeting and said, hey, they're playing flag football. This was, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And they did it in Newport. So
that was the cold one.
Oh, yeah,
right?
it was very cold.
Yeah.
And a lot of us aren't as young as we used to be. And so recovery time was a lot longer.
Isn't that funny how that happens? they make the ground harder than they used to.
It seems like that's very true.
But it was well worth it. And we made it fun. Yeah. We went over and grabbed the trophy and had somebody take our picture and said, "Oh, we've got the trophy," because we knew we weren't going to win. And of course, everybody thought we'd won, so they were all congratulating us on Facebook and stuff. But we made it fun.
And we put on Facebook that we had won. Of course, it was before the games had started.
So you meet every Tuesday night, don't you?
Yes.
But the only reason I know that is after I live on Pine Hill, and every time I go by there on a Tuesday, I have figured out that you meet every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually meet. Our first Tuesday is our association's business meeting, and I update them on what we're doing. What we've got coming down the line and stuff. Whether it's a training on a Saturday or it's just something we need to do. And and if I need some help with something, somebody's always showing up. Saying, hey, can I help you? I've got some retired guys that are retired from their employment, so they come down in the mornings and have coffee or whatever. I call it my daycare. It's great because they're always helping,
right.
And it's like I said, Neil said it earlier. It's just a big family,
right.
And I couldn't ask for a better group of people.
I know you do more than fires, but as far as fires go, do we have less real big fires now? It seems like in my old age, I'm reminiscing to back when I was a kid. It seems like we have less big structure fires. Or am I totally wrong?
No, I think you're right. The fire volume has gone down as far as large scale structure fires. I've been on 27 years, and I remember the flower sheds, the Hunter's Lodge, all those big fires. But code enforcement is a lot stronger than what it used to be. There's a lot. The codes are stricter. We have better equipment than 30 years ago. Better training. So with the better training and stuff, we can give out better education.
Right.
And
Yeah, I think the education component really does. It's like whenever somebody decides they're going to burn wood, I've burnt wood all my life. Well, I have to believe that you've had to respond to many novice wood burners' houses because is that the case?
It happens. I mean, for the most part, everybody's good about calling at the station saying, can I get a permit?
No, but I meant your
burn?
house, your wood stove.
They're still out there. I mean, a lot of people have gone to pellet stoves.
Right.
And the reason went to pellet stoves is because the price of oil was really high.
Right.
And I think people are more educated about cleaning their chimneys, even with wood stoves. I mean,
that's true.
our chimney fires have gone down in volume, compared to 5 years ago. We usually get one or two, a year where, years ago we used to end up with, one or two a week. And, so people are more cautious. I think we've done maybe 4 this year, which is pretty good because it's been a cold winter. Not to jinx ourselves, but
I know I've never had a fire, as in a house fire, and to tell you the truth, I never want to have one because the thing is I've talked to people who say that they go to get something and they say, "Oh no, I lost that in the fire." I
Right.
couldn't imagine losing.
And the losing part, I think one of the biggest things that when we talk to kids, teachers, and parents when they come to us is, and this is the easiest thing to do, is to make sure you have a place where you're going to end up. If there's a fire in your home, where are you guys going to meet? That's probably the biggest thing we talk to everybody about, because we want to make sure that, number one, that they're safe, that they're saved if they are stuck in their home, but also that a firefighter doesn't go in looking for somebody if they're outside.
Right. How do you feel? Does it impact you when, say, somebody in Massachusetts dies in a fire as in a firefighter?
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't get affected when that happens
Right.
when it comes to a firefighter.
yeah, no, I mean, it hits home. I mean, because you look at, they're doing the same job that we're doing, and it's always unfortunate that something like that happens. It's one of those deals that we are in a risky business. It can happen. You try to do everything you can to prevent it from happening.
Right.
But sometimes it happens. But it hits home. It hits hard at the heart, and we're supportive of them as well.
When I think of firefighters, old-time firefighters, I think of somebody from your sister or brother department who's now passed away, is Mr. Bill Lapierre.
Oh, yes.
And his wife, because she
Yeah.
played a very important role too. My mother went to school with Bill,
Yeah.
Emil, and my mother said that if the fire alarm rang and he was on the first floor, he would jump right out the window and run. And I've never met somebody who just he was so excited about
Yeah.
his work.
Oh, he was a great person. Back in the day, they didn't have stuff like we have today to work with. I mean, the guidelines weren't as strict. They had open cab trucks and the old rubber jackets, and look at an air pack and they would look at you like you don't need those things.
Right.
We never had them, but the knowledge that they put out there was just amazing.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we're just about ready to wrap up. So Neil, let's go one more time. The date, the meal, and everything.
We're looking forward to having a lot of people come to it. February 28th. The seatings are 4, 5, 6, and 7, and it's going to be a spaghetti dinner. Great camaraderie, a lot of fun, and we're looking for everybody's support.
Are you looking for donations still if people want to donate?
Definitely.
And how can they donate?
I think the easiest way would probably just give me a call and I'll get the information out, or we can put it on. We'll put it on your site.
Okay.
Yep.
So, okay, well, thanks for coming on, and thanks for your good work, and thanks for keeping our houses standing.
Thank you very
Thanks
much for having us.
Thanks for the time.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Thanks.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.